Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Kall from the United States, and I'd like to say hello to all of my New Skin Leader family in Taiwan. I only wish that I was doing this live with you in Taiwan, but maybe another day. So I'd like to just start off and just share with you a little bit of my story and how it ties into social media. So you might know I have been involved with Nu Skin for a very long time. I started back in 1988. And my parents at the time were Nu Skin, very successful sales leaders. And I was getting ready to graduate from college. And most people kind of assumed that I always knew I was going to do Nu Skin. But the truth is, I wasn't. I was going for a little bit more of a traditional business background. And I was getting ready to graduate from the business school at my university, and I had no idea what I wanted to do for my life's career, and I was starting to get a little frustrated. So my parents one night were going to a Nu Skin meeting and invited me to come along. Now, the only reason I really went to the meeting was because it was in Miami, and I liked the idea of practicing my Spanish, so I went to the meeting. And what happened at this meeting was it changed my life. I sat in the audience and I heard people from all different walks of life share their story and why they were so excited about Nu Skin. And some were young moms that were really appreciating the flexibility that Nu Skin offered. There were business people talking about how they loved the idea of diversifying. People were excited about the flexibility, and I sat in the audience and I immediately knew this is what I wanted to be for my life's career. And I left the meeting and I very proudly announced to my parents, I decided what I want to be for my life's career. I want to be a Nu Skin distributor. And of course, my parents were super excited. I actually put Nu Skin on my graduation cap, and I have never looked back since then. Shortly after, I went to a Nu Skin convention, and there were certain things that I learned at this first convention. First thing was to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. And so I started to really think about what my strengths were, maybe what some of my weaknesses were. And I immediately realized that one of my strengths was my belief level. So because my parents were Nu Skin, I already knew the products. I loved the products. I believed in the company, and I was brought up believing in myself. So that was all working in my favor. But my disadvantage, if you will, was the fact that because my parents were already in Nu Skin for so many years, everyone I knew already knew about Nu Skin. And so my parents said to me, who are you going to talk to about the business? And so I started to think about my strengths, and I started to think, well, I'm a very social person. I love talking to people. So I'll just go out there and start talking to people. And I started this thing called walking and talking. I would approach strangers wherever I was, often in the streets in Manhattan, in New York City. And I would walk up to people that had kind of a little bounce in their step, a smile on their face. Hard to believe in New York City, but true. And I would just stop them and say, excuse me, sir, can I ask you a crazy question? Would you consider yourself to be an open-minded business person? Because I have amazing products and a business I'd love to talk to you about. And I would ask them for their business card. Now, I realize this sounds crazy, and it probably was, but it worked. I did it a lot. I spoke to a lot of people about the products and the business, and I ultimately became a Blue Diamond executive, and I was pretty young at the time. It's, by the way, how I met my husband. I always joke and say he's my favorite prospect ever, and we've been married now for 29 years, so that's good. So anyway, so I built my business in the beginning days, really doing this walking and talking. But at some point, I realized that walking and talking was not really that duplicatable, right? Not everybody would have the confidence to go up to people and talk to people. And so when I first learned about social and the idea of building on social media, I got so excited about it because to me, social media is like walking and talking, just less scary because you can do it from the convenience of your own home, wherever you are, wherever your cell phone is. We joke and say it's an at-home business, but I like to say it's an at-phone business because wherever my phone is, I'm in business. So anyway, that was one of the first reasons that I did truly love social media. So the misconception I think that a lot of people think about is that social media is the business, but it's not. It's really, the business is still the business, right? Social media is just another form of communication and a way that we can reach a larger audience and reach an audience faster. It doesn't mean that face-to-face stops, right? It's just another way of doing it. And the truth is you can expand your audience so much faster and so much larger via social media. But at the end of the day, we are a relationship-based business. And so everything comes down to how you connect with people and how you show them you care. And social media becomes a very simple way of introducing, you know, what you're passionate about to people and engaging in what they're passionate about on social media. So I always suggest people, before you jump into social media, if you're not already there, to think about your brand. Now you might be thinking, I don't have a brand, but that's not true. Everyone has a brand. So think about the 5 things that you're most passionate about. So I always think that if you were kind of in a room or at a party and you were talking to someone you didn't know, what are the things, the 5 things, 7 things, whatever, that you'd be super excited to talk about it? That becomes part of your brand. So for example, for me, my brand would be my family. I love my family, my husband, my children, my dog Daisy. Everybody knows about Daisy. I am a vegetarian. I like to work out. So I do my Peloton or my mirror or my classes. I show that. I love to ski. I love to golf. I like hanging out with my friends. I love travel. And guess what else I love? New skin. I love my new skin. So when people see me talking about traveling or golfing or Daisy, and they know I authentically love these things, they believe me, right? Because I love those things. So when I talk about new skin, people know that this is just another thing I believe in and I'm passionate about, and it has to be authentic. So really think about that, and that becomes part of what you start sharing on social media. And what happens is, and if you follow me on social media, you might not even know right away that I am in New Skin, right? Because I'm my brand. New Skin is part of my brand, but I am my brand, just like you are your brand. So you don't want to be the person that is constantly posting just on New Skin, because that kind of could be a turnoff. So it's really about sharing what you're authentically in love with. And remember that facts tell, but stories sell. And stories on Facebook and on Instagram are an amazing place to really showcase what it is that you do. And so you don't want to be, again, the person who's always posting on bottles. And I actually think posting is not really where on social media, it's really more in the stories that we're able to communicate a lot. So you want to follow what we call the 80-20 rule, which is where 80% of what you post about is on all the other stuff. It's the family, it's the foods you like, the wine you drink, the exercise, your, date night, whatever it might be. And then when you do that, it like earns you the right to then post on New Skin, as long as it's not overwhelming. Does that make sense? So again, the do's and don'ts, you don't want to be one of these people that's only posting on New Skin, because it's not that much fun to watch, right? And if you wouldn't want to watch someone over posting about one thing, that's how they are going to feel. So just keep that balance, and just remember, people buy from people they know and they trust and they like, right? So if you can show them authentically who you are and what makes you special, and they like you because you have common interests, right? Then because they're following you, then they're going to be interested in why are you so excited about Lumi, right? Because they know and they trust you. So just be authentic. So how much should you post? So it's a big question, and honestly, there's no one answer. A lot of it depends on how many people you already have following you, and how many friends you have, and how your engagement is. So you really have to take all of that into account, and you can start off somewhat on the slower side, and then start to grow your following and grow your audience. Something that I like to say is that numbers don't lie, right? And that's true in everything. I'm very big into accountability and tracking numbers and following my numbers, because then I can grow them. If I don't know my numbers, I can't grow them. So right now, write down how many friends do you have on Facebook, for example. How many friends, or followers rather, do you have on Instagram? Look at your last few profile photos. How many people have liked them? When you typically post, how many people engage with them? How many people like them? How many people comment on them? And those are numbers, they're metrics that you can follow, and you can make a goal to grow them. So if you notice that you post certain things, like for example, we usually stay away from anything that's negative or controversial, and sharing doesn't really help you. So if somebody else posts something and you share it, it's not going to really grow your numbers. It's not growing your audience. So again, it's all about you coming up with your own original content and authentically thinking about what it is that you love and posting on that. And so make it a goal, and have an accountability partner. So make it a challenge that every day you're going to start posting, and maybe you check in with somebody. And I like to do what's called a deep dive, and have somebody else look at the people who are commenting and liking some of your posts, and let them click on those people, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram, and come up with a list of, ooh, that person could be good. This looks like a person who's very engaged on social media. So you might not be very active on social media, but I bet you're connected to somebody who is. And it's just like our business. We don't have to be good at everything. We just have to use our connections and our network and our ability to reach people who might have a skill that we don't have, right? And it's all part of our business. So the other piece to this is technology. Technology and social media, to me, go hand in hand together, because technology really increases the pace of your business because it makes things very efficient. So when I first started in Nu Skin, if I wanted to introduce the business and the products, really the products, to people, I would send them a video or a brochure, and I'd send them something in the mail, and it would take time. Or I would, if I was going to do a party and do an event and showcase my products in the business, I would travel, and sometimes it was hours in a car, sometimes it was getting on a flight. The very first time I did a Facebook Live, and I immediately had an audience of people that I had not connected to in years. I immediately knew this is going to be super exciting, because the reach and the potential is so enormous. And I started to join groups. I started to, again, think about things I was interested in. I have 3 children, and they're now all in college. So I joined an empty nesters group. I love, like I said, I'm a vegetarian. I joined groups, and I started to connect with other vegetarians and learn about, ooh, what's your, favorite recipe, and what kind of foods do you eat, and how do you get your protein? And you start conversing with people. And again, it's a relationship-based business. So it doesn't mean you have to, do something right from the get-go and immediately go live, but you can start gently and start using social media as a way to expand your audience and increase your reach. But again, once I started to incorporate the technology piece, it grew, my business absolutely exploded. And so people often ask me, how do I keep up with the pace of the business? And honestly, it's no different, right? We run with the runners. I've always found it's easier to go out and find someone new and excited and show them how to do this business on social media than to try and convince somebody who's not interested in social media, because every person is going to do the business their way. There's no right or wrong with social media. It's just everybody incorporates different pieces of it. So what happens again is that people come to the table with different comfort levels within social media, but I do use Facebook for trainings. I do Zooms and different technologies, right, that you can get your team together and pop in there and share thoughts. And again, it just is a way of enhancing the business and speeding up the time, because you can get things done so much faster. Now, if you're new and this is making you very nervous and you're thinking, I'm not so sure I want to do social media, I understand it. I'm really just a few years ahead of you, because when I first started thinking about it, I liked it because I knew it could expand my audience faster, but I was nervous. So you just kind of get started. You start posting about the things you're comfortable with, but don't stay in your comfort zone too long. It might be a very cozy place, but remember, nothing grows in your comfort zone. So you want to challenge yourself, get the accountability partner, and really encourage yourself to do it, because remember, you are your group. And as leaders, if we don't try something new, our team's not going to try something new. You set the pace for your group and your organization. So if you do it, people will do it. If you don't try it, they're probably not going to try it. So make a goal, know your numbers, look at your followers and your friends, and make it a goal to increase it. Send out friend requests, follow people with common interests, engage. You have to engage, and then it grows your audience. So I am excited to see how you all do. And as an example, tag me, like show people whenever you're training or you're learning something on the business, you post about that in your stories. Growing my business, learning from my friends in the United States, looking for partners, things like that. Tag me, because I want to see how you're doing, and then I'll repost you, and then you get international exposure. So best of luck to everyone. It was great meeting with you. Bye.